Hello everyone and welcome once again to Wrestling Showdown Rewind, here of course on the W3L network. As always, thank you for joining me, thank you for having hit that subscribe button, and hope you're all staying safe, healthy and are preparing yourselves to come and see us live, because it's looking very likely the W3L will be returned to live action in the not too distant future. These are the dates we currently have scheduled, but they are more than likely subject to change. Dates have been penciled in, so keep your powder dry and get yourself ready, because we'll be coming back towards the end of the year. Original tickets for these events from last year all remain valid, so please keep hold of them, and we'll deal with that nearer the time. But we'll keep you informed as we go along, and of course I'm sure you know, when we do return to live action, we'll have Crafty Connoisseur back on board as our live event sponsor. So go to their web store, make a purchase, tell them that we said hello, show them some love and support. You can also support us, get a fan support package, because we're still not out of the woods yet. This just helps you help us until we can be back up and running properly. And these are all the things you get. Prices begin at £5, so something that will suit every single budget. Also, you can buy yourself a cool t-shirt. There's a whole bunch of different designs. Go on the website, have a rake around there, see what you like and purchase one of those. And of course, to tide you over until we are up and running live, you can of course watch all the archives here on the W3L network, and you can go to the W3L box office. We brought you an event from live in Haddington. That's our most recent release from 2007. There's a whole bunch of W3L's biggest events ever available on the box. There's new titles will be added in the future, but there's so much to watch. Engage with all of those, get involved. It is going to be something special, and hopefully we'll be able to see you in person very, very soon. But first of all, let's have some wrestling action. Now, last week we saw a mixed tag team match. It was Mike Musso and Carmel against Alan Grogan and Sara. We're going to fast forward a few months to January of 2008, and two of those aforementioned competitors about to go at it in a singles competition. Sara, by this point, is the new W3L Women's Champion. She won the inaugural championship back at Wrestlution, and she's defending it for the very first time against Carmel. These two are arch rivals, and really they'd be for their entire careers pretty much. So what is going to occur in this contest? Will Sara's reign continue past the January of 2008, or is Carmel about to get her hands on the highly prized W3L Women's Championship? So we'll wait to find out. Let's get down to ringside and see what happens.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe Fordyce, here with you on Wrestling Showdown Rewind. We have got a match for the W3L Women's Championship from the January of 2008 inside the fabled Windsor Hotel in Kirkcaldy in Fife. The defending champion there in the black and white is of course Sara, who is accompanied to ringside by Nathan Reynolds. That's him right there. And she's taking on perennial challenger Carmel. Now, we saw them mix up in some mixed tag team action last week right here on Wrestling Showdown Rewind as Carmel gets sent flying there. But that was from the June of 2007, that contest from last week. This is the January of 2008. And so these two of them are no strangers to each other. If there's another walk up there. Oh, and again Carmel sent down. If you went to the W3L box office and saw a brand new W3L Live in Haddington release, an event from July of 2007, you'd have seen these two mix up one-on-one. And at Summer Fever in 2007, not long after that, Sara would defeat Carmel during the Women's Championship tournament. She would of course go on to the inaugural Wrestlution, and would become the first ever W3L Women's Champion as Carmel takes her down. You can of course watch that on the box office as well. You can purchase Wrestlution on DVD should you so wish. And so Sara became the first ever W3L Women's Champion, and this is her first ever defence of that championship. And it's against the woman she narrowly defeated in the tournament, that being Carmel. She has that firm grip of her wrist, and the odds aren't necessarily in Carmel's favour. I mean, obviously she's the challenger, so of course as usual she has to beat the champion to get the title, not the other way around. Plus you've got Nathan Reynolds at ringside. It does make you wonder what, if anything, he's going to do Sara often allied with somebody. We've seen, of course, Damien Diamonds, the head of Diamond Security. He would often accompany Sara to ringside. And just smacks Carmel in the face. Why attempt a complicated escape from a wrist lock when he just smacks someone right in the face? And he turns this into the hammerlock. Of course, both women, having wrestled multiple times, both in singles matches, tag team matches, six-man tags, you name it, they do obviously know each other quite well. So they've got an idea as to what each other might bring to the table. But you know that they're still working on new things, still very early in Carmel's career. Sara's been going a little longer, although he spent a lot of time as a valet at ringside, of course. So as a consequence, you've got to think that both of them are trying to constantly come up with something new that the other hasn't seen. And back in this era, this sort of like 2007, 2008 era, there weren't that many females wrestling in Scotland. So invariably it was Sara versus Carmel. Let's see, Carmel takes down that headlock. Oh, I thought she was going to try and roll her on the shoulders for a potential pinfall attempt, and Sara ensnared her, and she did this time, but Sara's out of it. And this is the familiarity I was talking about. But really, all over Scotland, if you had a women's match on your show at this time, it was usually these two. So they fought so many times, and I think unfortunately you do get into a situation where you know somebody so well, you can almost become overconfident. And maybe that was a sign of it right there as Carmel gets hit with that clothesline. Maybe they lull you into a false sense of security. You're so sure they're going to do a particular thing and they do something else. But these two set the tone. We discussed it a little last week. If you want to talk about women's wrestling in Scotland, these two women are the architects. Oh yes, she is. What a really, really disrespectful cover. Just put a finger on Carmel to try and pin that. There's no way that was going to work. But that's just arrogance right there, just mind games. There's a butterfly suplex. That's a slightly better cover this time. It doesn't quite get the job done as yet. And so consequently, everybody that competes in the Scottish wrestling women's division, if you want to describe it as such, these are the two ladies they owe a debt of gratitude to, because they set the pace, they prepared the ground, if you like, for what has come along since. And you know, at one point you'd have to go through Sara and Carmel if you were a female wrestler in Scotland, just almost to prove that you were good enough. And you know, like all wrestling, there's the history of Scottish wrestling is littered with people that had a lot of ability and a lot of talent and just didn't make the cut and just didn't last. Women's division especially. Carmel and Sara became almost like the gatekeepers, they were the matriarchs. But this is the feud that started it all, as Carmel getting wrenched by the hair. Referee Clarence McAdoo goes down, but Carmel kicks out on one. That's going to have annoyed her. She's going to be very annoyed at that. She knows Sara's tricks, she knows Sara's shenanigans. Sara's cheated to defeat her in the past. Of course, Carmel got a big win last week in the mixed tag. He's hit that backbreaker, converting Alan Grogan's cradle suplex into the inside cradle. And there's the cockiness of Sara coming out. And I suppose as well, when you think about it, she got put in that women's tournament, she got all the way to the final, she overcame Brittany Knight, became the first and so far only as... Oh, Carmel reverses direction! Lovely move! She's so good at that sort of thing, caught Sara unawares, but maybe took a bit too long, and Sara with a drop toe hold, and now just chokes her on the ropes. No pretense at even trying to wrestle here. And look who's at ringside. Nathan Reynolds applying the choke. I mean, Colin, you had to figure he was going to get involved at some point, didn't you? You had to think that was the case, and that's exactly what he did. Carmel must have expected it was a handicap match. I mean, I know it's not meant to be, but come on, you've got Reynolds at ringside. Sara's defending the Women's Championship. She does not want to lose it. Again, she won it at Resolution the prior year. She's only held it a matter of months. She doesn't want to lose it in her first ever defence. Carmel being throttled even more. This isn't really fancy offence, but it's debilitating because of course if you can get those lungfuls of oxygen in, you're going to struggle. Carmel taking a snapmare and a kick in the spine. Oh, now going in for a surfboard. Could be now targeting the back. I think use anything to apply extra pain and pressure onto Carmel. And Sara firmly controlling this match. See Carmel fighting to her feet. She's good at it when she's able to get a kind of head of steam, when she's able to kind of reverse things. As I say that, look, she reverses into a backslide. Carmel always thinking she can come up with some nice moves, but then she tends to get caught out with something like that clothesline. Again, I think that's her inexperience showing. If you followed Carmel's career, of course she's in somewhat retirement these days, doesn't wrestle anymore, but still makes appearances. Then chances are you know just how good she would become later on. Vertical suplex attempt. That's exactly what it is. More damage to the back. And you see Sara this time immediately in for a cover. I think she's maybe realised that she can either put Carmel away, or maybe she should be putting her away. So no cocky sort of one finger covers, no stalling first. Hit that suplex, immediately in for the cover, trying to get the victory, because again I think she realises if she gives Carmel a window of opportunity, Carmel will climb through that, albeit metaphorical window, and make the most of the opportunity. And you can see why. Gets the sunset flip. Sara rolling out, I think her momentum carried her there. Carmel ducks that clothesline, hits the cross body. Is this going to do it? We're going to have a new women's champion. Wow, it was so close. This is what I'm talking about. When Carmel gets a moment, when she's able to put a move or two together, she can catch you, she can take you down, she can get your shoulders on the mat, and that's what you need if you want to become the women's champion. Sara just clearing her head a little. Casadora, and dumps Sara face first. It's not the prettiest we've ever seen, but Sara went face first in that unforgiving W3L canvas. Nathan Reynolds has hopped on the apron. Carmel sees it, doesn't bother wasting her time going for a pin, trying to tell Clarence Mikado, get rid of Nathan Reynolds. He's just delaying the inevitable, but look, Sara, having had a chance to recover, she went face. Oh, come on, how is that not a disqualification? And Sara driving Carmel on the mat. That's the same move she used on Brittany Knight back at Resolution, and she gets the same result. I do not believe it. This is just outrageous. I mean, it was a match that, to be fair, firmly went Sara's way. Carmel nearly had it going her way on a couple of occasions, and Nathan Reynolds interfered, snapping Carmel's neck on the top. Well, why that match wasn't thrown out, I will never know. Management really need to speak to Clarence Mikado. Maybe it's an understandable reason why he's not around these days. But rightly or wrongly, and let's lean towards wrongly, there's Carmel cheated out that women's championship, and Reynolds has grabbed the microphone. And here comes Mike Musso. Reynolds saying he's got a shot at the title, basically calling Musso out, and that's exactly what he's got. And we're getting a taste of their title match right here. Look at this.
I'm going to give you one piece of advice right off the bat. If you're looking to win the W3L Championship belt tonight, you might want to think again of having that beside you. Just ask Logan, just ask Ricky Knight. She's no good. And you know something else, Nathan? Yeah, it's good to be back in this hotel, I'll tell you that. Hey, you're running your mouth, you're running down this hotel. Hey, this might be the smallest venue that we visit, but these fans make more noise and show more passion than any W3L fans in this country. And I cannot wait to kick your ass and retain the W3L title.
Sara overcomes Carmel to retain the W3L Women's Championship, but not without some assistance from Nathan Reynolds. And you saw after the contest, he called out Mike Musso and got what he wanted. They had a match scheduled to face each other for the Heavyweight Championship. And if you've subscribed, if you join me next week here on Wrestling Showdown Rewind, we'll bring you Mike Musso versus Nathan Reynolds for the WTL Heavyweight Championship. It's a classic rivalry from the archives of the Worldwide Wrestling League. These two bring out the best in each other. Watching Reynolds versus Musso is always a treat, so make sure you subscribe and don't miss it. But that is in 7 days' time, and hopefully all that has just whet your appetite for seeing us live, which I'm pretty sure we can manage later in the year, all being well. Of course, everything's subject to change. Here's the dates currently penciled in. Original tickets do remain valid. When we come back to running live events, Crafty Connoisseur once again returns. Our live event sponsors. Make a purchase, show them some love, tell them that we said hello by one of our amazing t-shirts. There's some fantastic designs, show support for W3L, pick up a fan support package. You get all these things. Prices begin at a £5, something to every budget. You can of course also pick up DVDs as well, and head to the box office. A whole bunch of W3L's biggest and best events available for you to watch right now via digital download. Get involved in that. If you want t-shirts, if you want the fan support package, if you want those DVDs, you can get them by going to our website, W3LWrestling.com. Make your purchase and send it to the mailing list while you are at it. Give us a like on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, join us over on Instagram. Of course, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Use that hashtag. Tell us what you thought about Sara versus Carmel. How much are you looking forward to Reynolds versus Musso? It's going to be fantastic. And then come back here in 7 days' time. I'll bring you more news about what's happening here in W3L. I'll bring you Musso versus Reynolds and a whole bunch more besides, all right here on Wrestling Showdown Rewind.